Hey everyone, welcome back to Beauty and Trends with your host Afra Hossin. You're listening to Relax Radio, and I hope you guys are doing really well. And as you might have noticed, it has been getting warmer finally because I've been freezing to death for the past few weeks now, trying to go to work in like this cold. And if you remember, it was just last week where the weather was like below 0 degrees, so it was super cold. But finally it is getting warmer. The spring, I can feel the spring's present already, and it's just giving me, I think it's giving everyone much more of a calming effect, not only for our mind but for our soul and body. So I'm so super excited, and it feels just like last week it was the beginning of 2021 January. It feels like that to me, and I feel like time is going super quick, and it's already going to be March next week. So 2 months has gone by super quickly, but just remember, we're all going through a tough situation and it's going to be okay. And as always, I'm going to start off the show by sharing with you guys two motivational quotes slash story. So the first motivational quote is by Don Zimmer, who's a professional baseball player and coach. And he dedicated 65 years to sports. So the wisdom he left behind is all to do with power and dedication, which is an important ability. So his inspirational quote says, "What you lack in talent can be made up with desire, hustle, and giving 110% all the time." So what you lack in talent can be made up with desire, hustle, and giving 110% all the time. So if you lack something in talent, that doesn't mean you're a failure, or it doesn't mean you can't, what do you call it, enhance yourself or improve yourself to make yourself better. Because if you lack in talent, you can make it up with your desire and by working really hard and making sure you give more than 100%. So this is what Don Zimmer said, who again is a professional baseball player and coach. And what he tries to mean by this is that it's the, again, alluding to the concept that success is formed in the mind before it is manifested in reality. So if you want to do something or try for a goal, you want to accomplish a goal, you need to first of all uh, make sure you know in your mind that you're able to do this goal. And then after knowing this goal, you need to then you'll be able to do it. If you in your mind are already backing yourself away, saying that no, I probably can't do it, or maybe no, it's too far out of my hand, or I can't accomplish this, then you're not going to accomplish it. But if you have it in your mind, the end goal, you already know what to do, then you can basically achieve your goal and go beyond it. So if you do lack in talent, you can improve yourself. And if you know that no, I'm not good at this, but I know I can get better, you're going to get better. Just before I continue on, Samad Choudhury said, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Welcome to Beauty and Trends. I hope you're enjoying the show. Andy said, yo, hi. Samad said, I'm Samad Choudhury, watching from Samad World Gallery, and ongoing another Islamic program in Relax. So feel free to watch all the Relax Radio program. If there's 2-3 going on, make sure to watch all of them. If you like my show, you can keep on watching mine. And yeah, so talking about inspirational quotes. This is the quote by Don Zimmer. So what you lack in talent can be made up with desire, hustle, and giving 110% all the time. And then the inspirational story I wanted to share with you guys is something that I found online, and it is so inspirational and it's so interesting because the concept is to do with how people think and what goes through their mind when they when they are in front of an obstacle, a certain obstacle, and then how they react to that obstacle. So the story is called The Obstacle in Our Path, and the story's, I guess, end result is to do with opportunity. And before I continue on talking about this motivational or inspirational story, I will be shortly back after the break, so don't go anywhere. And if you want to know more about beauty and trends, keep on tuning in, because there's more to come in the show. Welcome back to Relax Radio. Well, you're listening to Beauty and Trends show with Afra Hossin. So before the break, I shared with you one inspirational quote by a baseball player and coach. And just to recap, the quote was, "What you lack in talent can be made up with desire, hustle, and giving 110% all the time." I will post the comment so you guys can read it and feel inspired by it. And the inspirational story I wanted to share with you guys was to do with the obstacle in our path. So this is to do with a long time ago. There used to be a king, and he had a boulder. So a boulder is like a big, large rock. Yeah. So in a long time ago, in ancient times, there was a king, a raja, a king, and he had a boulder, so a big block of stone, a rock, and he placed it on a roadway. So on a street, where cars go, where horses go, he placed a big, this was the king, by the way, the king placed a big rock of stone on the road. And then what he used to do, after placing it right in the middle of the road, he used to hide behind bushes, and used to watch if anyone that comes across this big block of rock, if anyone will move it out of the way so they can go, across the road. And some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers came by and simply walked around it. So this king, right, he placed a big rock on the middle of this road, and his wealthiest, his richest, shopkeepers, the people that used to sell clothing, luxurious silk, they all used to come by and they used to see that rock. And instead of moving the rock, because it was movable using hand, they just walked across it. They didn't bother. They didn't care. So many people loudly blamed the king for not keeping the roads clear. So they were complaining, the king is not keeping the roads clear. But none of them did anything about getting the stone out of the way. So this is quite interesting, because they, instead of they see there's something blocking the road, but they're just going around it, and then complaining that, oh, the king is not doing cleaning the road, he's not making sure the roads are clear, and always blamed the king for it, and they didn't do anything themselves, to remove it. Or they're seeing this, they're not doing anything about it. One day, a peasant, so a peasant is like someone who's very poor, came along carrying a load of vegetables. He had lots of vegetables with him, and he saw this big stone, big boulder, and he laid down his burden. He laid all of his vegetables, his everything that he was carrying. He laid it down, and he tried to push the stone out of the road. He saw this and tried to push it out of the road. After much pushing and straining, he finally succeeded. And then after, the peasant went back to pick up his vegetables, and he noticed a purse lying in the road where the boulder had been. So where the stone was, there was a purse right underneath it. And the purse contained many gold coins and a note from the king explaining that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from the roadway. And the moral of the story was, every obstacle we come across in life gives us an opportunity to improve our circumstances. And whilst the lazy complain, the others are creating opportunities through their kind hearts, generosity, and willingness to get things done. And I found this really, really interesting. This story is very inspirational, and it just makes me it makes me see how other people, what's going through people's mind, how they think, and how they approach each situation. It's like a way I feel like you can train your mind by listening to these inspirational stories. So just to recap what the story is about, the long time ago, there was a king, a Raja. He placed a boulder on a roadway. So he placed a big block of stone on a roadway where people normally walk across to get to the king's, to the city, or people use their horses, carriages to go across. And then what the king did, he placed the big boulder in the middle of the road, and he hid himself. So he hid himself to watch, to see if anyone would move it. And then a lot of people came, some of the king's richest merchants, so people that sell silk and rich, expensive stuff. They all came, and courtiers all came with carriages, but they simply just walked around it. They didn't do anything about it. And all of them just blamed the king for not keeping the roads clear. So they were just blaming other people. They didn't bother themselves to move it around. They were just, oh, why is it in the middle? It's the king's job. It's the king. The king should move it around. He's not doing a good job. And then one day, a poor person came, a peasant, and he had a lot of vegetables, a lot of stuff. And he saw this big stone. And instead of just, walking around it like the others did, he laid down his burden and tried to push the stone out of the road. And it wasn't easy. He had to push and then strain himself. And then after all that pushing and straining himself, he finally succeeded. He moved it out of the way, and he went to pick up his vegetables. And then he noticed that underneath that rock, that big stone boulder, there was a purse. And in that purse, he saw there was lots of gold coins and note from the king explaining that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from the roadway. And this is basically what I'm trying to say, is that every obstacle we come across in life gives us an opportunity to improve our circumstances. And whilst the lazy complain, the others are creating opportunities through their hard work.